my turn in the queue here. But first of all, just a comment about the truck convoys, particularly those that are coming out of eastern Syria, taking the crude oil out, talking about the money for the terrorists. Just on Sunday, there was an attack, a very effective attack on some of those truck convoys. And I would just point out, because the Air Force has been misguided, in my opinion, on trying to retire the A-10 aircraft, attacked aircraft. And there have been a number of us that have been pushing back very hard on that. We've been successful so far. I would just point out that the aircraft that is being utilized very effectively in theater are A-10s that are taking those truck convoys out. And I also would like to make a comment. I don't know that I have a question, but I do have a question, but not on this issue, in regards to the refugees. Because I've sat here this morning, I've listened to a lot of comments about American compassion and how we need to be more compassionate. We can't possibly put a pause on this program. And I would just remind, talking about American compassion, the story of two brothers that came to this country, refugees. They came with their families to escape their homeland, the ravages of their homeland, and cute little boys, just darling little boys. They couldn't have possibly been a threat to the United States. They couldn't be anybody that would, would look at radicalization or what have you. They were here. They were reaping the awards of the American taxpayer dollars. They were here as we were supporting them. They were here due to the compassion, taking advantage of the compassion of the American people. And how did they repay us for those dollars and that support and that compassion? They placed 2 pressure cooker bombers at the end of the Boston Marathon and blew up innocents there, including an 8-year-old boy who was blown to bits. So I would just mention that, talking about American compassion. And I also think, regarding the refugees, as we look, I was very interested to hear about the average age of the fighters, foreign fighters, et cetera. But really, as I sort of look at the media, looking at all of these refugees who are leaving Syria, and believe me, I have compassion. But for the young people that are leaving their homeland, literally, isn't America enabling what should be there, an age group, a demographic that should be in Syria, hopefully in a safe area, a safe zone, paid for by compassionate countries, including the Saudis and the Gulf states, et cetera, to leave them there. That is a demographic that should be in that country to help protect their own homeland. Instead of that, we're helping to get them to leave that. So I think that we certainly should have a pause on the refugee program. And I also will just make one other note on that. Back in January, myself, Chairman McCall, and Peter King sent a letter to Susan Rice in which we said, I'll just read one, we said, the resettlement of such a high number of Syrian refugees raises serious national security concerns. We said we're concerned about the possibility of groups like ISIS and ISIL exploiting the refugee resettlement process to mass the deployment of operatives into the West. And we got a response in February from the administration, basically patting us on the head, saying, don't worry about that. We've got it covered. We have a very extensive, rigorous system that they said, multi-layered biometric and biographic screening, which is obviously impossible. I don't know how you are going to have biographic and biometric screening available to do. And without objection, I will place those 2 letters into the record. My question to the witnesses is regarding the visa waiver program, of which I have a bill, and I'm hopeful that we're going to take that up as soon as we can. I actually chair the subcommittee on borders and maritime. We've had numerous hearings about the visa waiver program, and whether or not, with the 38 countries that are currently participating, and if they are not to our comfort zone and our degree of confidence, really giving us, through the information protocols, the information, the traveler information that we think we need. And we can think about who these countries are. We set it up in 1986 because we wanted to expedite tourism. Well, this is not 1986, and as you think really about the outer ring of border security now and the kinds of things we should be doing, whether that's pre-clearance or certainly with the visa waiver, 38 countries, France, Germany, Belgium, et cetera. I mean, that, in my mind, is even a bigger concern, way bigger concern than the refugees, really, because you see that you have a huge, a much higher proportion of foreign fighters that are coming back into these countries in Europe before they come into America. So I just would like to ask witnesses what they think about our current visa waiver program and what we need to secure America.
Absolutely, this is an area for congressional oversight. How does this program work? Is the information being shared under the program as it was intended to be? And I agree with you wholeheartedly. As I said earlier, the issue from the perspective, I think, of U.S. national security and homeland security should be more focused on the foreign fighter population than on the refugee. I mean, the foreign fighter population, they've already demonstrated a commitment, right, to go to Syria and fight. 4,000 plus from Western Europe, or at least from the West, many of those from these visa waiver countries. Now, I think it's important to point out that, as you know, the visa waiver program is not a free pass. There is a information vetting that takes place. The question is, are the protocols, as you point out, followed? Is that information being shared between the United States and these countries? It is a potential vulnerability, and I think an appropriate area for the oversight of your committee.
Thank you. Anyone else before we?
No, I agree with Matt. I mean, times have changed. We need to review. It makes sense for the Congress to dig into it.
Thank you. The Chair recognizes the gentleman from Massachusetts.